There is a place for guilt, healthy guilt, to motivate us to do the right thing in the future. Stay with me. I'm Randall Terry. This is Voice of Resistance.
Those who forsake the law praise the wicked. Those who uphold the law resist them. Welcome to the Voice of Resistance. Here's your host, Randall Terry.
Hi, friend. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have committed sins. And most of us know that desire to have the burden, the weight of our sin lifted off, the shame associated with it. So we flee to the blood of Jesus to wash away our sins. But there is a place that remorse and guilt plays in helping us change course and to try and not do those things again and rectify what is rectifiable, okay? Today in my interview with Joe Scheidler, the last part of an 8-part series, we look at the role of guilt, and Joe gets to ask me some questions. I hope that you find this inspirational.
There are people who have fallen, who have either been involved in an abortion or have not fought against one, or who just haven't made an issue of abortion, and they feel guilty. No, there's still time. You're still alive. There's still tomorrow. There's still this afternoon. Get active. Get active. The guilt can be used. It's not good for anything else. Just to sit around and feel guilty is one of the biggest wastes of time you can imagine. But make that guilt cause you to act and change your attitude, change your actions. There are so many things you can do. You can support pro-life groups. You can go out yourself. You can get the literature. There are just so many things you can do to change the lethargy or the inaction immediately. And why wait around? And why feel bad about it? Put that aside and do something positive. And one of the positive things is just to walk down to an abortion clinic and stand there and talk to whatever woman comes along. It might be the very thing she's waiting for.
Especially post-abortive women and post-abortive dads,
yes,
who either willingly participated in the death of their child or were begging, please don't kill our baby, powerless to stop it.
Yeah.
Having those, speak to those who have participated in child killing about the impact that they could have at the abortion mill and in the general discussion.
Right, exactly. They have the experience, and they have the incentive now. They have the incentive. Sooner or later, they want to do something to negate, to lessen their involvement, and so they have to do something positive. And they're the ones to talk to a person contemplating abortion, or simply someone who supports abortion and thinks it's all right. Whether it's a neighbor, a friend, whoever, bring it up. Bring up the issue and try to convert, change people's hearts and minds. It's got to happen, and we're the ones to do it. It doesn't just happen. It happens through people who have been involved one way or another, putting their beliefs into action.
Reparation.
Right.
Repair.
Reparare.
You've been on the front lines since Roe versus Wade, over 4 decades. And you're still in the fight. What word of encouragement do you have for those who are new to the movement and feeling burned out, feeling despair? What can you say to them to keep them in?
The burnout, despair, all those things can be fuel, can be instrumental in more action. You don't like that feeling. You don't like feeling burnt out. You don't like feeling useless. So you go against that. And you read something more, you get into a conversation, you go to the clinic, you do something positive to override that feeling. Burnout is a bad feeling. Nobody likes it, whatever it is. Feeling that you can no more to do, no place to go. You always do. still have a heartbeat. You still got brain waves. You can still move around a little bit. Use it. You simply have to constantly, because we all have it. I sit at my desk and I think, oh, gee, I'm burnt out. I've done everything I can do. I'm tired, and so on. And then I get a call from Randy Terry to come down and be on his show. Do it. Do it, and do it with enthusiasm. And if the enthusiasm isn't always there, put it there. Pretend. Act a little bit. And it may begin to become true. So, wishing won't make it so, but doing will. Just doing what you think you ought to do, and it becomes the reality. And then the burnout's gone because you're still burning.
What questions would you like to ask me, if any? Do you have any questions? Now you get to play the host. It's
Randy, what got you into the pro-life movement? What particular event or happening made you decide to go all out?
When I was in Bible college, we saw a series put out by Francis Schaeffer called, I think, Whatever Happened to the Human Race.
Right.
And I remember sitting in the chair, I was in my senior year, sobbing my eyes out, thinking, this is so horrible. Abortion is so evil, but it's a social issue. And because I wasn't Catholic and I had not integrated spirituality with duty to fellow man, tangible help, I thought my duty is to preach the gospel and, lead souls to Christ so they can get to heaven, but never mind all these social political issues. But I was conflicted. So I was sobbing. And then fast forward a couple years, I was at a concert after Keith Green died, and a man named Baba Yala was singing about infant Doe, that little Down syndrome baby that they starved to death in Indiana. Remember they had the trach problem or the esophagus problem? And again, I was sitting there shaking. I was sobbing so hard. And I went up to Baba Yala when that was over. And I said, I believe God is going to use me to impact the nation to fight against abortion. And I had, my eyes were flashing. And he's blind, but the intensity of what I said was so gripping to him. He stepped back. And when we met again years later and he came to sing at one of our Operation Rescue events, he remembered the conversation. He remembered meeting me. He remembered how jolted he was by what I said that night after hearing him sing. And so these things are happening, and then we had a prayer meeting at the church I was going to, and just before we broke up into our little prayer groups, a woman came in who had been watching a TV show called PTL with Jim Bakker. Praise the Lord. This is decades ago.
Right.
And she started crying, and she said, I just saw a special on PTL about abortion. And she's talking about these babies being ripped apart and the blood, and I got this sinking feeling in my heart. Every time I thought about child killing, I got that sinking feeling, like, oh, what can I do? I'm just one person. So we go to our prayer groups, and we're in there, and she said, please pray about abortion tonight. So I said, okay, fine, we'll pray. That I can do. So I'm pacing in a little room about this big with maybe half a dozen other people, and I'm just praying, God, please do something to end this. And I literally, I know this sounds unbelievable to some people, but I literally had a vision. I saw a scroll coming down in front of me with words written on it, explaining to me what I was to do. And I saw like snapshots of hundreds of people being in front of the abortion mill, of us using the media to teach people the value of human life, that God, each human life has value because they're made in the image of God. And I saw myself on Donahue. So I went to my pastor about a week or two later to talk to him, and I said, I'm going to be on Donahue. I saw it. I'm telling you. And I ultimately was with Faye Waddleton in Wichita. So I had this vision, didn't know what to do. I actually, at the time, I thought, this might be crazy. I don't know. So I told a friend, and he just sat there and went, wow. And later on, Mike Merva, good man, he said, when you told me, Randy, I thought you were nuts. I thought you'd lost your mind. But he didn't say that. He didn't say a word. So the only thing I knew to do was to get out my Bible. I thought, all right, if this is from God, then I'll be able to find something in the Bible that makes sense. Because, you know, as a Bible-believing Christian, I didn't have church teaching. I didn't have church tradition. I couldn't turn to Aquinas or Augustine and, you know, of course this is my duty. So I got my Bible and just started frantically reading, you know, what, I've got to be able to find something here. And I stumbled on this concept of innocent blood and found passages that spoke about child sacrifice happening in Judah and the wicked kings like Manasseh who were killing their babies. And it says he filled Jerusalem with innocent blood and the Lord would not forgive. And then in Psalms, you know, the one Psalm where it says they sacrificed their sons and daughters to demons and shed innocent blood, the blood of their sons and daughters, and the land was polluted with the blood. So I was like, this really could be God that spoke to me. God hates the shedding of innocent blood. You know, that Psalm, there's 6 things the Lord hates, yea, 7 that are an abomination to him, hands that shed innocent blood. So I felt such relief. Like, maybe this really was from God. And pondering all these things in my heart, and then I finally went to my pastor and told him, I've had this vision, I've been studying the scriptures, I think that this is really God. And he had the wisdom to ask me a very simple question. He said, well, all right, what are you going to do? Where are you going to start? And because I'm telling him, we're going to be all over the country, we're going to be in front of abortion mills, and I'm carrying on and on, because I've seen this vision. And he said, well, where are you going to start? And I, you know, being quick on my feet, I said, I hadn't even thought about it. I said, right here in Binghamton. So I went to the abortion mill by myself. I just stood there. I didn't know what to do. Had never heard of you. Had never seen a single piece of pro-life literature. And except for Keith Green wrote that abortion track years ago, or Melody Green. It might have been Melody who wrote it. And I didn't know what to do. And all I knew is that God was compelling me to stand and speak for his babies and to try and save them. And that's how I got started. And then I told a few friends, and they said, well, we'll go stand down there with you. So we made some signs, and then I found some pro-life literature, and I started handing it out to the girls. 5 months I went down there every abortion mill day.
When is this? What year?
This is 1984. The fall of 83 is when I had the vision, and in the spring of 84 is when I started with both feet on the ground. And 5 months, not a single baby saved. It was so demoralizing. And then in 1 week's time, 5 separate women turned around. And one of them was the mother of my daughter that I adopted. So that was the beginning. And then a little bit later on, after taking John Ryan's advice to do a sit-in, and it would be no problem, and I was sitting in jail, I had another, it wasn't a vision, but I was reading the scriptures and thinking, and that's when it kind of came tight together. I'd been studying Martin Luther King and reading his wife's biography of him, and looking at the scriptures and thinking of movements, and I realized, okay, my mission now, I get it. My mission is to specifically recruit clergy. If I can recruit clergy, if I can get the shepherd, he'll bring the sheep. So I specifically went to ministers, Protestant ministers, friends that I had, and to Catholic priests, and laid out my plan. We've got to go to the abortion mills, and we've got to close them down by peacefully sitting there. That was after you spared me the other part. And it went well. I mean, obviously, it took off. People said, okay, I get it, I see it. And that's why there was such a heavy amount of clergy in those heyday years, because I
yeah.
went after them. I would go to a city, and someone would say, I want to come and speak I want you to come and speak in our city. I said, I would tell them, I will not come unless I can meet with the clergy, find the local clergy group,
Right.
and have me come at a time when they have their monthly meeting, their lunch or whatever, get me the ability to speak to them, and then I'll come.
And there were so many that came.
Yeah, they would
You
come out
always
to the
had
meeting, I
big
would
groups.
stand and I would speak to the clergy,
Right.
and they would say, man, I'm in. And then they would go back to their congregations
Right.
and recruit.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a trademark of your sit-ins, your
Oh,
rescues.
The clergy.
The clergy. Remember that. That was very impressive.
That was something that I felt the Lord showed me specifically, that you must do this.
But see, I see you doing this long before the mid-'80s. For some reason, I thought you were right there. I don't know why, but
I wish I had been.
It was such an important part of the movement that maybe I sped it up or something, because we were doing those things, but not on a grand scale. You did some strange things before you ever got into the pro-life movement. Could you just very quick sketch of some of your activities?
Well, do you mean like selling cars?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, for example, they used to mock me. When I would be on TV, they would say, Randall Terry, former used car salesman.
Oh, yeah.
That was their jab at me. I sold cars in 81, 82, and that's when I started to have this, this ache that maybe more can be done. And when I had this vision, I was still selling cars, and I actually started my own little used car lot, just so that I could have more freedom.
Right.
So rather than sit for 10 or 12 hours a day at a big dealership, I could come and go as I pleased if I had my own little lot. And that worked fairly well. And I was just always scrambling to figure out a way to survive financially. But I was young and a little, some people call it reckless, some people call it full of faith. But I just didn't, money didn't hold an allure for me. I knew that God had spoken to me. By the time I was 25, I knew what I was supposed to do. I knew as sure as I was alive why the hand of God was on me and what I was to do. And I put myself into it with singular focus. When we opened up our crisis pregnancy center, I said, we have to have a CPC. We're going to save babies at this abortion mill, and we need to be able to get them right over someplace. So we found a building a spitting distance from the abortion mill. And I found some literature on how to start a CPC. And it said it'll take a year. And I said, baloney, it'll take a year. We'll open it in a month. And 30 days, 1 month to the day, we opened up a CPC and had it open 6 days a week, had it fully staffed, had walls up, carpet, free pregnancy testing, and we were in the yellow pages under abortion. Back in those days.
Right, that's what we put. Crisis pregnancy centers.
Right. Needed abortion, contact us,
Yeah,
whatever it was we
right.
saed. So, well, I think I'm pregnant, I need an abortion. Well, come on in, let's get you a pregnancy test, and we'll
still
start
play
there.
those tricks, right? Right. Well, that's amazing, Randy.
I want to invite you to go to our website. Almost every book that I have ever written is available as a PDF online for free. We have a ton of products, training materials, tools that are available for you for free. All we ask for is that you give us your email address. That's it, so that we can stay in touch with you, and yes, from time to time, ask you to support this work. So I'm inviting you, go to the website. Now, for those of you who say, well, I don't want a PDF, I want a real book. You can get one of my books. All you have to do is pay for shipping and handling, and then give whatever gift you want. And if you can't afford anything, we'll send you the book for free. Just pay shipping and handling. Why are we doing all this? Because we want to change the direction of the country, and we need to raise up a fresh generation of warriors to do that. That's why we have this tool. I invite you, go to the website, see for yourself.
The used car salesman thing became a joke in our trial. Seemed almost everybody pro-lifer had been a used car salesman. And
Maybe it helped us to sell the
might.
truth.
if you could sell a used car without an engine,
No, now I have
Normally,
to say in my defense that I was an honest used car salesman, and that made it more difficult.
oh yeah.
Because I would tell people at my dealership that I used to work for, I'd say, you do not want that car, please. I'm not, and I would walk away and the manager would say, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I'm not selling him a car that I don't think is a good car.
Norman McCorvey, I think.
Norma.
Was a
Oh
used
my
car
goodness.
salesman.
Oh.
And Keith Tusey, I forget.
Yes, Keith was. That's right.
It went on and on. If my new book ever comes out, Racketeer for Life, we have a little chapter that has the humor of the used car salesman.
Did you sell used cars?
No, I'm sorry I didn't. I think I could have.
You see, you were
I've
way more
sold a used
highbrow.
car,
though.
but
you had huge clients. I mean, you had a big office way up high in a building where you were in tall cotton when you. It was more of a sacrifice for you to go full time. For me, it was like, okay.
No, I really was ready to get out of PR, to get out of my job. I liked doing pro-life work. I still do.
Well, you're good at
think
public
it's
relations.
necessary.
That's for sure.
Still like to do the job.
There's people out there that have this conviction, young people who've watched us, now they're like, there's something I should do, but I work full time, I've got a family, I can't go full time in pro-life. What do they do to kind of bridge the gap between their sentiment, their pro-life convictions, and some level of action where they can get some of that energy and force out?
You're asking me
Yeah.
what they do? There's always action to be taken out at the clinics, meeting with other pro-lifers, other people that feel that way. The job is still there to be done. And you can't just say, well, that's been done, that's been done. It has to continue to be done. We have to continue doing the same things. The women still go to abortion clinics. They still get their wrong directions from doctors that are making money off of killing. The work is still there. And you don't have to necessarily be with a large group of people. You can do the job on your own. You can bone up. You can get on. You can write the letters. You can write the books, make the films, use the media to keep the issue alive.
Talk to the heartache of just feeling alone.
Yeah.
You know that feeling. I know you know that feeling.
Yeah.
Where you're like, like Elijah. Is it, Lord, I alone am left?
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard. We all go through it. I go through it back at my office. I think we should be doing more. We should be doing this. So we put out little booklets and we write and we get on radio and we go to the churches and talk to the priests, still talk to the ministers. Keep doing the work that has to be done. It will always have to be done. Somebody has to do it, and if you have the inclination, then follow that inclination.
Joe, it's been an absolute honor to have you, and I consider you one of the greatest men that I've ever met and ever known, and you might be my last living hero.
I am living.
Well, you are. Most of my heroes are dead.
God bless you, Randy. Love what you've done. You are the pro-life movement.
Oh, you're very kind. I say the same about you, and as I said, you gave me permission. I know that part of what I became as a man was due, in fact, to your encouragement and to your just blessing me and being a blessing to me.
Well, that's a blessing to me. Thanks, Randy.
God bless you. Friend, I hope you enjoyed this series. This is the last one, and if you missed some of them and you want to see the whole series with Joe Scheidler and I, go to our website. Thank you, Joe. God bless you. Long life to you, sir.